Pretty
Check. All right, we're recording.
nice. Yeah, we recording. Let's fucking go.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. I am still here. They have not kicked me off the podcast just yet. I know there was a petition going around, and I know you guys had like 4.5 million signatures. I heard there was more signatures than Amber Heard had. Okay, listen, I'm still here, and we still rocking. All right, I'm here with my boy Annabelle Rodriguez.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Now that's how you cut a promo.
You came out fired, bro.
Yes, sir.
Fired up.
Yes, sir.
I like it, man. I like it. So what's up, man? How you feeling?
You know, I'll be honest with you. Actually, today,
Yeah.
I actually had. I mean, I don't want to say it because it sounds like I'm putting that in the universe, but it actually like that's how I felt. Yeah, man. From the moment I woke up, it was like the shittiest day ever.
Really?
Like legit. And you know what I noticed? Like probably an hour before I got here.
Yeah.
That it just continued to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And then it clicked in my head. I just been walking around with like the most negative energy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but then
you
I got here.
you didn't become aware until.
But no, the thing is, I was aware. I was totally aware from the beginning. But
Yeah.
I just, for the life of me, dude, I was like, man, I don't give a fuck. Like everything is pissing me off. Everybody's pissing me off. Like that's just totally how I felt. That was my vibe today.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're out of it. We fixed it.
How'd you fix that? That's actually I'm intrigued to figure out how you fixed it. First off, most people when they wake up pissed off, they don't even know. They're not even aware of it. It's just their day-to-day routine of being pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
And then they go their whole life pissed off. So that's a good thing that you became aware of it. What were some of the things you did to change that around?
Well, look here, okay? If you guys want the answer to that, it's $49.95, okay? And we're going to show you on the next episode, okay? So if you guys want the answers for that, you guys better pay, okay?
That's a salesman right there.
Yeah, exactly. Let's continue the banter before we get into the good shit, you know?
Okay, cool. I
exactly,
like that. Yeah, don't give them any gold just yet.
No, they have to earn it.
Yeah, they got to watch for another 10 minutes.
They have to watch it. Exactly. They have to watch at least 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Guys, make sure you fast forward this YouTube to 30 minutes from now to get the answers to all of your problems.
Listen, if you do that, I will find out and we will have major problems. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already and you watch these, we're expecting you to like, subscribe, comment. Even if you don't like the shit that we talk about, just comment and say, man, I really hate you guys. No problem. We're totally all for that. We're welcoming it. Go ahead.
Bring it. I do like the engagement of our fans and people that follow us both on our IG and our YouTube. I've been getting a lot of DMs and messages from previous episodes. People just giving their support, people asking questions, asking for guidance, and that's actually what I kind of wanted to talk about today, because what was our last podcast about? Is about religion, God, spirituality. And from that, I got some feedback. Did you get any feedback at all?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I have people on both ends of it, people that are very religious and, believe in Christianity or they're Catholics or.
Yeah. They hate me now. They want a petition to kick me out.
No, nobody said that. My supporters are actually much better people than your supporters.
Okay.
Yeah.
My supporters are scumbags. Like, kick them out, fire him.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you see, once again, my supporters are at least, they're not Democrats, because that's a Democrat. You know what I mean? That's a fucking
They want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Cancel you.
Exactly.
Cancel Chris.
Yes.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Me Too movement and shit,
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, one of the subjects that I wanted to talk about today that I feel that a lot of people out there are dealing with for quite some time now is mental health. I come across so many people that on the outside, they look fine. They're living their life. They look all good. But when you really sit down and talk to them on a more intimate level, people are dealing with a lot of internal turmoil, suffering, sadness, depression, anxiety. And I think it started, since like COVID started like over 2 years ago. And a lot of people are still kind of in that mind frame of, trying to get out of this funk. Like you said, you woke up being pissed off or whatever. Have you ever been depressed before, Chris?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm talking about It's true depression. I'm talking about like sad. I'm sad.
No, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I actually had said it sometime last year. I made a video actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was very, very, it was very opening and I was very vulnerable. There was a period in my life where, I mean, how do I say it? It's just like it's really out there. I legit wanted to kill, I didn't want to kill myself, but I was totally fine dying. I didn't go to the point where I was like, man, I really want to kill myself, but I didn't want to live anymore.
Yeah. I'll be completely open and honest about my experiences as well. I have also dealt with depression. They call that suicidal ideation, which means you think about killing yourself, but it doesn't mean you're going to do it. It's more of a cry for help or looking for answers, or just feeling so much pain that you just want it to end. Like, I don't want to die, but I don't want to be here anymore, kind of thing. I don't like my life that I'm in. It's your soul literally crying out, saying, this character that you are right now, this circumstance that you're in, I don't like it, and I don't want to be this anymore. And the cool thing is that we have the ability to change that. The problem is that a lot of people become hopeless and they say, I cannot change this circumstance. I cannot change this suffering. So I'm just going to end it now, And I think this subject is very, very important and crucial to talk about, especially during this time. And, I know who our audience is, and our audience is entrepreneurs, people that are, driven. They want to accomplish a certain goal. They want to gain more in life. They want to seek wisdom and knowledge. And sometimes life freaking hits you with a couple of combinations and you're just shook, man. You're shook to the ground, and devastating things happen. Bad things happen to good people. And during those moments, you kind of question a lot of things, so if you don't mind me asking, I mean, what led to your depression? What was that experience like? And what did you learn from it? And, I'll go ahead and share mine as well.
Well, it was a lot of things. I forgot the year. Maybe it was like 2015.
Yeah.
I had a lot of things going on in 1 year. So kind of to summarize it.
When it rains, it pours, man.
Yeah. I had a breakup with a girl that I was with for almost 8 years. So that was a big thing. In the same year, around the same time, let's see, people know I've been in business now for 10 going on 11 years. At this time this year, this was the absolute worst year I probably ever had. No, actually, that's not true. I had even worse coming after that. Oh, shit. But in business at that point, it was the worst time ever. I mean, my income had dropped bro. I mean, it went from 6 figures to, I was eligible for, government assistance. Legit, So that had happened.
Okay, so financially you were struggling.
Financially, I was struggling. Yeah. Emotionally,
you had
I was really heartbroken.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about. Really, I thought I knew about women, because I can get women. So I thought I knew about women, but that's not. Then that's when I learned, you don't know anything about relationships,
Right.
So I guess that's a better way of put it. I thought I knew about relationships, which it involves women, but
you had an idea of how to attract females, but you didn't know how to have a long-lasting intimate relationship with a female.
Yes. And then let's see what else. Well, I started making money early in my life. I was 19, 20, 21 years old when I started touching some real money.
Yeah.
And I never knew what I knew what it was, but I didn't know it was important. You got to pay your taxes, So I didn't know anything about that.
Taxman came after you, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So then,
that's happened to me too, man. It's all good.
Exactly. So that happened. This is all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else. Those were the 3 biggest things happening literally at the exact same time. So it was like everything was crumbling down. And I got to a point where I just really didn't like myself. I didn't, and that was a weird thing. It wasn't like I just didn't like my situation. Yeah. See, I hope that this helps somebody here today, and I think it will if they're listening. I don't know why, but I had the presence of mind, I had the awareness to understand that those situations were taking place in my life because of the person that I had become.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason, it was really more like self-directed. It was like this unhappiness with myself more than my life.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense to you.
Try to explain it. Because I know what you're saying. So I'll give you my perspective of what I think you're trying to say and let me know if I'm on track or if I'm off. So in every situation, there is the external, what's going on outside of you, and then there's the internal, what's going on inside of you. So you get two people that, look identical and have the same exact circumstance, but internally they're feeling two completely different things. So what you're saying is on the outside, everything is crumbling. Your finances, your relationships. It actually sounds mostly like just those two things, your finances and your relationships. Yeah. Were causing your internal.
Oh, I was also sued.
Okay. So you had some legal battles.
Yes.
So legal battles.
For $40,000.
So that's also a financial thing. Were you going to go to prison?
No. And actually, stay tuned because I'm going to tell you exactly how that ended up.
All right, cool. So this was more of a financial situation, financial when it comes to legal and also just your business failing. And then internally, when certain things happen to you in your life, you can take them from different ways. So for example, I've lost drastically in business before too. And the way I looked at it internally at that time, which also caused me to be depressed, is like, fuck, I'm a failure. I didn't succeed at this thing that I had all these hopes and dreams and aspirations to be good at, and I just failed. And when you quit, you beat yourself up. Like, man, why wasn't I strong enough to succeed in this thing that I thought I wanted to do? And you feel like a failure, and that attacks your soul. And that puts you in a negative vibration, in a depressive mode, So that's my perspective of what you're trying to say. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I get what you're saying, and I can see that. And I've kind of felt that, but no, that not in this regard.
Okay.
But you helped me get to the conclusion of what I was really feeling. It wasn't that I was feeling like, whoa, man, I failed in business and I failed in life. No. It was deeper than that. It was much deeper than that. It was this. I realized the reason why my life was crumbling and the reason why I was failing in life, I had enough understanding and awareness to know the reason why was because of the person that I had become. I said that, right?
Yeah.
And so what do you mean the person you had become? I realized I was very, very, very honest with myself. Mm-hmm. You lack ethics. You don't have any morals. You're willing to cut corners. You're willing to do anything you need to do to take one step forward, but you don't realize after doing that for so long, you're really taking one step forward and 5 steps backwards.
I see what you're saying.
Right.
Now.
And so when I said I was very upset with myself, because it all came to a point where I realized you're just not a good person. Straight up.
Yeah.
You're not a good person. You're willing to sacrifice anything. You don't have any code that you live by. And that's not what a man is.
Yeah.
And at least in my definition, that's not what a man is, And so when I realized that, I didn't like myself for that.
Okay.
I really didn't like myself. And so I was very, very, very depressed. I was very upset. And I could have went 2 ways, I could have spiraled out of control. And I'm grateful that I wasn't created that way,
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I was I'm going to redeem myself.
Yeah.
That was my mindset. I'm going to redeem myself because this is not how my life is going to end. This is not how the story ends.
Right.
And so that's what I mean when I say I felt that.
Okay. Now, was there a specific turning point, like one day that something happened while you were in that, in that depression that, you just changed everything around, or was it gradual? How did that happen?
No, I can't pinpoint a time where like a moment. It was gradual. Yeah. I mean, I think there are some people in the world that there's like an epiphany.
Yeah.
And I've also had that too in my life.
Yeah.
But this was not an epiphany. It wasn't like, boom, a moment happened and I'm slowly like ready to clean my life.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. For this, it was totally like a gradual thing. And every single day it felt like I was like climbing uphill. It was an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And it just sucked every single day. When you like get so far down, you know, how about this one? Like your fitness, right? If you like just let yourself go and you go fat,
Yeah.
you know, and you don't like yourself for that. I don't care what anybody says. People are like, oh man, like we live in a time today where it's like, you know, they shame you if you look good. And then it's like, well, you got to love your, see, so-and-so who's obese. Wow, that's awesome because, you know, that's real beauty. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's the time we live in because we give excuses and we let excuses, you know, become the fucking thing.
Yeah, what I've noticed is that people just don't like to hurt anyone's feelings, and it's not a good thing because sometimes you need to tell people the hard truth in order for them to grow and to become better. You know, like imagine you have a child and you know they're not showering, they're not eating healthy,
Disgusting.
They're just just being brats. They're not sharing. They're living just a bad life as a kid. And you encourage them like, oh, just love who you are. You know, that's okay. He doesn't like to shower. He likes to be the stinky kid in the room. You know, it's okay. He bites people and he punches everyone in the face. You know, imagine that kid grows up and you still encourage him to not be disciplined, to just love who he is. That is not a good thing.
No, not at all.
You have to be first honest with yourself, and then secondly, honest with those around you that you care about and you love.
Yeah.
So if you see someone that's causing harm to themselves in any way and you care about them, you should talk to them in a good way, obviously, but in a real way. Be like, hey man, what's going on? You know, I noticed this, I noticed that.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I agree.
Those simple conversations could really change people's lives and trajectory. You know, the problem is most people are scared of hurting someone's feelings. Like, oh my God, he called me fat. Like, well, are you fat? Yeah. Like, oh shit. Well, it's the truth. You know, maybe you should do something about that because maybe that person cares about you. They want you to be healthy. They want you to look better. They want you to have more confidence. And then I notice most people have like this fake confidence where like, oh, I love this. But behind closed doors, they're all depressed and sad.
Yeah, totally.
And I think right now in today's age, there's just so much trouble with mental health. You know, people just going crazy. You know, either living day to day with a depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts, exploding and going out and, doing things that they normally wouldn't do because no one is guiding anyone. Everyone's just bullshitting everyone. And we're not facing our shadow, those dark aspects of our life. Like you said, I didn't have any ethics. That is so hard for someone to say. To be honest with yourself and be like,
yep,
I'm a piece of shit.
Yep.
I'm fat. I'm undisciplined. I lie. I do this. I do that. When you can have the ability to really be honest with yourself, it's going to fix a lot of those issues, And myself, I've dealt with depression and anxiety and panic disorder for a very long time, since I was a little kid, and from my understanding, and I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything like that. I don't claim to be. I have studied quite a bit, so I know a few things, but this is just my opinion, and take it for what it's worth. But I feel, my shit turned off again.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? It's all good, bro. We can edit all this stuff. So, yeah, from my experience, most people carry around with them a lot of trauma from their childhood. Whether they were abused by their parents, by a neighbor, by this, by that, whether it was physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, any type of trauma that you have as a kid, you carry that with you into your adulthood and into your life. And sometimes you bury it deep down inside, and it doesn't come out until you have these dark moments in your life where you're like, holy shit, I forgot I felt all these things about myself. Like, I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I don't deserve love. I feel like I'm not smart enough. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. And until you're able to really dig deep and bring that to the light, you're always going to bring your issues in every situation. Whatever business you start, whatever relationship you get into, you're going to repeat the same cycle over and over again. And I realized that I was doing that because there have been moments in my life where I have been really depressed and have like really bad anxiety attacks and panic attacks and stuff like that. And then, I read a couple of books, I meditate, I start to exercise and eat right, and then start to do certain practices where I'm able to control, certain things. And then I go a couple of years, I'm like, I'm fine. And then boom, something happens and there's that little monkey on my back again. Like, holy shit, I forgot I have depression. I have anxiety. I have panic disorder. And it's always been an issue in my life where like, I don't think people really, if you know what depression is, it's a little different than being sad. Being like clinically depressed is a really weird feeling. It's like, one, nothing you do brings you any type of joy. Nothing. There's nothing in the world. You don't feel like eating because food doesn't bring you any joy. The music that normally you like, you feel nothing. It's freaking weird. I'm a musician, dude. I freaking love playing music. I love going to concerts. And when I was like in my darkest moments, like it did absolutely nothing to me. I was just like nothing. Like I love little dogs. I love like babies, cute stuff. Like nothing brought me any type of joy or anything. It was just like just doom, and it's a vicious cycle. And the worst thing is having anxiety and panic attacks, because your world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Like anyone out there that's dealt with anxiety and panic attacks can attest to that. Let's say you go to Walmart, right? And you walk into Walmart and then you start getting the symptoms of anxiety and your heart starts beating fast. You feel like you're gonna have a fucking heart attack. Your hands are all clammy and sweating, and like you feel like you're gonna faint. Like you feel like everyone's looking at you and you're like, fuck, like I need to get out of here. Everything in your body is telling you get the hell out of that place. It's dangerous. You're gonna die. So you leave Walmart like shook and feel like you're gonna throw up and you're gonna die. Now your brain associates Walmart with danger, so you can't go to Walmart anymore. And then you go to the next place and you get another panic attack. Now you can't go to that place anymore. Anytime you walk into that place, you're having an anxiety attack. The next thing you know, you can't leave your room. There's a lot of people out there that literally they do nothing with their life. They stay in their room. Their family takes care of them. They're like, what the hell's wrong with that person? Like, I don't know. He's depressed and he has anxiety, he has this and that. And the world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And eventually it's a lost soul, someone that's trapped in their own mind. They're in prison. You're in prison in your own body and in your own mind. And if you don't snap out of that shit, oh man, your life is going to be horrible and you're never going to accomplish anything. So I've been in those situations where completely severely depressed, dealing with anxiety on a daily basis, like having panic attacks nonstop. And I've dealt with that for a long time, and I tried many, many things, and I learned a couple of tactics that have allowed me to push through and still go after my goals without letting any of that stop me, And one thing that I will say is if you're dealing with severe depression, suicidal thoughts or ideation or any of these topics that we're talking about, seek professional help. There is people out there that can help you, whether you believe in psychology or psychiatry, it does help, I can attest to that myself, I've taken like all kinds of antidepressants, and some of them were horrible for me. Like I just felt like I was a zombie. And then there's other ones that have actually helped me get out of that depression and that anxiety. Yeah. All right, cool. I'll ask you a question. All right, cool. Sorry about that, guys. Had a little technical issue there we had to take care of. But I did want to talk to you about something, because I know during the pandemic, a lot of people lost loved ones, and I know that you lost someone very close to you, and in the last couple of days I've come across a lot of people that have also lost family members and that are dealing with the emotions and all the feelings that come along with losing a loved one. One of my coworkers' fathers, passing away from cancer, and it's like stage 4. There's really just keeping him comfortable for the next couple of weeks. I have some other people on Instagram that have messaged me that they've lost both of their parents, and that they're dealing with the depression and sadness and loss of that, security blanket that they've had their whole life. And just a lot of people during COVID, lost someone that they cared and loved. And everyone has dealt with those situations differently. I lost my grandmother during COVID as well. So I have some understanding of those feelings of loss, but I've never lost a parent, where I could only imagine the pain and that comes with that. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about, I know your father passed away, right, during COVID.
Yep.
I wanted you to talk a little bit about that and your thoughts on it and what advice you could give to people that are going through that same situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a big thing in my life, very, very, very big thing. I mean, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs, but I would say me losing my dad, for sure has to be the hardest thing that I've ever dealt with, because for many different reasons, which I'll get into. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you how he passed away. He passed away during COVID. And I remember, I think it was like a Sunday,
Yeah.
And I remember he was sick. He had a cough, and he was like, he just looked weak, But we didn't think much of it. It was like, he was sitting in a wheelchair. We had a wheelchair at the house, because the reason we had a wheelchair is because he already had a feet problem, right? He had a foot problem, right? Foot injury.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, my dad had broke his ankle right before he got COVID. And he was diabetic. So
yeah,
it was really bad, where he broke his ankle. Like, you know how your foot is like this?
Yeah.
Okay. His foot snapped backwards.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah. And then walked around on it for like 2 weeks, didn't realize that it was broken. He just knew it hurt because he was diabetic. So if you're diabetic and it's really bad, you lose feeling in a lot of your limbs,
Just go numb.
And so he actually had a broken ankle. And so we had a wheelchair, but he had a feet problem for a long time. And well, anyways, long story short, he was very weak, and it was from COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing him at the kitchen table, and he was sitting in his wheelchair, and I remember just seeing him weak, and that was very, very, very rare in my life. I've ever seen my dad like that, but I still didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, I'm not thinking death. I'm just thinking like he's sick,
Yeah.
And so I remember getting. I remember going to, the kitchen table and talking to him, and, I'd never seen him that way, but I was like, basically, hey, everything's going to be fine, It's all good. Go to the hospital, go to the doctor, urgent care, wherever you're going, and everything's going to be good. I love you, and I'll see you soon, And, that was the last time that he was home.
Wow.
That was the last time he was home. So in retrospect, it's crazy to think, because I didn't know that would be the last time he'd ever be in his actual home.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, I believe it was 3 weeks later, he had passed away, and he was in the hospital, and it was a really, really tough thing, man. I mean, I've said some of this stuff to people personally. I've never said a lot of this on a camera.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, I remember my whole family being obviously shook up, because it went from him just checking into the hospital to he has COVID and he has pneumonia, and he's on a ventilator. And then, they're saying the ventilator's not helping. And so the next step from being on a ventilator is they're going to intubate you, which is when they put the hose, you go unconscious, and they put the hose down your throat.
So they put you like in a coma kind of thing?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
They put you in a coma. They put the hose down your throat, and basically it's essentially like life support.
Wow.
That's really what it is. And so my dad was terrified about that. He just like, no, you're not going to intubate me. He signed things. He was like, do not do that.
Yeah.
And I understood, because they were also telling us that if they were telling us that the percentage of people that go in intubation,
it's like
almost nobody actually survives it.
Yeah.
So like you're basically dead already just by going into it. The statistics show.
Yeah.
And so he was terrified about that. And, I didn't really realize the severity of the situation until I forgot one day, I see my mom dealing on the phone with doctors and nurses and all this other stuff. And so then it clicked in my head. I go, this looks more serious than I've been thinking, And then I saw my mom, and my mom, the type of person that she is, my mom's a great mother. I love her very much. I don't know if she watches these, but if you are, shout out to my mom. I love her.
Yeah. Shout out to all of our moms
Yeah.
out there.
But my mom's a very, she's like, how do I say this? She's not built for these type of situations. She's just not, she's very worrisome already, so anything that she has a real legit reason to be worried about, it's going to amplify times 100,
Yeah.
And so I started watching her. I was like watching her from a distance on the phone with nurses and doctors. And then I see her break down on the phone after she hung up the phone. She started breaking down crying,
Mm-hmm.
And so then that's when it clicked in my head. I said, I think she needs help. Somebody needs to help her. And, nothing against my siblings, but I don't know. I just like, hey, she needs help. So I had a conversation with her, and I basically just took the lead, and I told her, I sat her down and I said, listen, here's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to, I told her this. I said, I'm going to start handling all this stuff. Now, mind you, I'm already hella busy, but it's my dad. So it's like, I'm not going to sit here and go, I'm too busy.
Right.
And so I sat my mom down and I told her, I said, look, I'm going to start dealing with all the nurses, all the doctors, and I'll start correlating all this information, coordinating everything. And I'll send you guys the information of what's going on. So I took on that responsibility. And so then I started getting to know all the nurses around the clock, all the doctors. Yeah. And it was really a day-by-day cases, man. I mean, some days they were like, yeah, your dad did really good. He was in great spirits. Other days, my dad was texting me from his own phone, like already telling me his goodbye.
Wow.
And there was this really surreal moment for me. And this is the first time being on camera. A really surreal moment for me was when my younger sister came to the house. And this is all during COVID, like in the middle of COVID,
Yeah.
And so, everybody's wearing a mask. My sister came to our house wearing a mask,
mm-hmm.
And so she's wearing a mask and she's like pacing back and forth in the room. And I walk in and I see her and she's not doing too good. I can visibly see her. And I'm like sitting there and I sit on the bed and I'm like, she needs to be consoled, but I'm like, she's wearing a mask. What do I do?
Yeah. She's like, keep 6 feet, but console me.
So then I asked her and I said, hey, it's like a weird question, but like, can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, please hug me. So I hug her. And as I hug her, she like kind of breaks down in my arms, was my younger sister.
Yeah.
And I was wearing my Apple Watch. And as I'm hugging her, we're hugging for a while.
Yeah.
I feel my Apple Watch vibrate. And as I'm like this, right,
mm-hmm.
I read the message. And it was like a really surreal moment. I'm not going to say word for word what was said on the text, but it was from my dad.
Okay.
And literally, he was giving me his kabai and his commands on what he wanted me to do with the family and all this other stuff.
Yeah. And
that was a hard moment of my life, man. That was a very hard moment because I'm consoling my sister and I'm reading this like goodbye text from my dad and I have to keep it together.
Yeah.
And so then, my sister felt the energy like, and
yeah.
she stopped hugging me. She looked at me. She goes, what happened? And I'm like, nothing, we're good. Like, it's going to be okay. I'm telling her it's going to be okay.
Yeah. It's almost like she's consoling you now.
No, but she wasn't consoling me. It was like, she was like checking my energy. Like, you good? Like, you telling me everything's good. Like, are you good? And I'm like, yeah, everything's fine.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew like things are not fine. And, yeah, it was tough, man. It was really tough. It was a very, very tough experience. I have extended family, 6 siblings, including me, 6 siblings. I'm the second youngest. And I have my mom, obviously, to worry about. And it was an experience for sure. And anyway, so, I was talking to my dad throughout the whole process, trying to mentally coach him, coordinating the information with the doctors. And then, I remember, man, it was the day, it was a night where they actually gave us the best news in the entire time that he had been at the hospital. He had his greatest day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your dad did really good today. He didn't need the ventilator, or we had dropped a percentage on it. He was in great spirits. He was joking. He's this, is that, blah, blah, blah. He's talking about coming home, all this stuff, right? And then I'll never forget this as long as I live. I'm sleeping and 3 a.m. I remember it was 3:46 exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They come running in my door. He didn't have to tell me nothing. I already knew what was up. I wake up and it's my mom and it's my sister and they're like, you need to get up. And I said, shit. internally I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
So we go to the hospital. It's giving me flashbacks, bro. We go to the hospital, and my dad he's I don't know how I say it. Like he's unconscious. He's brain dead. I don't know how to word it. His body's just like, his body's alive, but his brain just shut off. And that was the lack of oxygen, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, he was gone 2 days later. And my whole family, we literally like legit, we lived in a car in the parking lot, because remember, this is COVID. You can't even go in the hospital.
That's horrible.
And it's one person at a time.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, we slept in the car in the parking lot at the hospital, you know? And I have my sisters, I have my girl, I got my mom, my girl's pregnant, you know, and yeah, it was a really, really tough experience, dude. And you know, we all had to watch our father pass away, and we watched him through a glass.
Yeah.
They got one chair, they sat it outside the glass, and I sat there, and you just had to watch him, and his body's just, you know, and yeah, man. And then, you know, gracefully they let my mom go in the actual room.
Yeah.
You know, and they were like, really, like, you're gonna expose yourself. She didn't give a shit. Like, dude, this is my husband.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, and we waited there at the hospital for days until he had passed away, and then it was a really surreal moment, you know. And you know, so I tell you how he passed away. I tell you the experience I went through. It's been 2 years. This is really the first time that I've ever actually like brought it out on the table like that.
Yeah.
You know? And so I've seen my family struggle with it. And I think for the most part, I've been able to move forward and just live my life. And, you know, and it's interesting because what advice can I give anybody?
Well, let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
What advice did you give to your family? Because essentially overnight you became the father figure. You became the rock, the leader of your family. And I know you're not going to share the specific words that your father gave you, you know, but essentially you're the man of the house now.
Yeah. And
as the leader and the protector and provider of your family, obviously you're the one that's going to guide them through the heartbreak and the heart loss, and you have to have the most strength out of all of them. What advice did you give to your mom and your siblings?
I think there's only one advice. I don't think there's any advice you can give anybody in those moments. Like I really believe that. I don't think there's any advice that's going to fix how they're feeling. Yeah. I think the only thing you can do is be a demonstration to them of how you want them to act. That is it. Because what advice are you going to give them? You know, oh, look, read this book. It's going to fix everything. No, it's not. You know, read this, watch this YouTube thing. This YouTube video is going to fix you how you're feeling. No, it's not. Yeah. You know, cheer up. Life goes on. Dude, you want to get fucking punched? You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to help. That's not going to help anybody. So the only thing I thought to do was I need to be strong. That's it.
So you led through example of what?
That's it. And I let them be how they are. I let them experience whatever they were experiencing, react however they're reacting.
Yeah.
And I didn't judge them for it. And it was just straight up, hey, you know what? I'm here.
Yeah.
Just bring me all your shit.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you're feeling, tell me. Let me know. And I'm not going to sit here. I won't even talk. I'm just going to let you talk. Mm-hmm. And you have somebody to listen to you. You have somebody to console you after. But at the end of it all, we got to move forward.
Yeah. So you were essentially like the therapist, you know, where they came to you and they expressed how they felt, and you were someone that could listen without judging.
That's it.
And I think everybody needs that. Everybody needs that person that they can confide in and be vulnerable and intimate with, Because when you carry around all these feelings and you don't ever express them or let them out, they eat you up inside. So that's great that you were able to provide that to your family. And I'm sure there's people out there that unfortunately don't have anyone like you in their life, and they're dealing with a lot of suffering and pain and loss, and maybe they haven't seeked anyone or reached out to anyone, and they just bottle it all in and explode sometimes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you guys are out there, I hope you guys are gaining some wisdom from these experiences that, Chris and myself have gone through, and, our guests that come on as well, and can apply some of these things. And I can attest to being able to speak and express how you feel. It does give you a sense of relief and a sense of understanding, because everybody wants to be heard and understood, and that's great.
And if I can really, just kind of dive into the mental practice of it.
Yeah.
Because the question I get is, well, what makes you different than your family? Why are you able to handle their emotions and yours and move forward in life, but other people will maybe struggle? And my family has come a long ways, just so you know. And I give them a lot of credit for that, because my mom, for instance, has really come a long ways, And that's actually her second husband that has passed away.
Wow.
So that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And for me, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for anybody else, but I can speak for myself. I believe it's my belief that you're going to experience life based off of how you perceive life, right? So if a death takes place in your life, right, of somebody you love, and you're not mentally prepared for that, and you're like, well, somebody or the life took my loved one away.
Yeah.
Right. You're always going to feel like, man, that's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. That's one of the things I always heard during that time, which is, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Then it clicked in my head. I already knew it. It's not about it being fair. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I can't control it. And I think that so many people, they have such a hard time in life because they focus on things that they can't control, number one, and they focus on things that are in the past. And instead of focusing on things that make them feel positive, they focus on things that make them feel negative.
Yeah.
And I think that right there, that's a cocktail
for disaster. Yeah.
I'm going to say it again. You focus on things you cannot control, things that are in the past, and things that make you feel negative.
Yeah.
And I also have this interesting thought about death. I feel like not most, but I don't know the statistics on it, but a lot of people that I have encountered, they have this idea that if they're not mourning for 10 years, that they feel guilty.
Yeah.
Like, I have to mourn. Like, I have to feel bad because they're no longer here. And if I love them, then I would be feeling bad right now.
Yeah.
And I find that people are trapped in that idea. So they're forcing, I don't want to say they're forcing themselves, but they're bringing more negative feelings on themselves because they want to maybe prove to themselves or the world or whoever, I really love so-and-so.
Yeah. It's like a flogging, a self-harming, to prove your loyalty.
And I'm not saying they did that or didn't do it. I don't know. What I'm saying is,
you've observed that.
I've totally observed that. And I realized that, no, that's not true. This is not true.
Yeah, that's true, because I mean, I've known people that, they've taken a loss so hard that they never, ever, ever got over it. And it's usually, to be honest, it's a parent that loses a child that has that type of reaction to where they can never, ever get over it. And I can sympathize and empathize with that.
Of course, absolutely.
Jesus, that's such a horrible thing.
I don't ever want to experience that. And I have a daughter.
Yeah. And, I never judge anybody for the way that they respond and react to tragedy.
Because, no, you can't.
Because tragedy comes to all of us unexpectedly, and like you said, like, how did you know that was the last time he was going to be at home? It was unexpected. And that's what tragedy is. It comes out of nowhere. And it's so true what you say about, one thing is, we're all going to die one day. Death is a part of life. And it's crucial to remember that, like the memento mori, know that you're going to die one day. Mm-hmm. And when you realize that, you can live your life a little bit differently, and you can accept that we're all going to pass away one day and we don't know how it's going to come. And you can live life a little bit with more grace and empathy for others. Like you could be a little bit more patient with older people, because guess what? You're going to be an old, slow person just like that, with aches and pains. And when we're young, we really don't even think about it. We're just like living or being reckless. We're doing crazy stuff because we think we're going to live forever, but we're not, mm-hmm. And it takes sometimes tragedy to realize that, and I love what you said, that there's things you can control and there's things you can't control. When you focus on things that you can't control, all you bring is misery and anxiety and depression. So unfortunately, bad things do happen. People do pass away, and it's going to affect us all one day. And I thought this was an important subject to bring up because I know your experience that you went through. And I know that every single person that watches this at one point is going to go through that or has gone through that. And if this podcast can help them through that process, that grieving process, then we're doing our job here.
Yeah. I think I'm not telling anybody, and for sure, I agree everything. I agree 100% with what you said.
Yeah.
Nobody can judge how somebody else grieves over a loss.
Yeah.
And that's not the intention of that's not my intention of what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Not at all. I want to make that clear. Okay. I'm sharing from my own inventory of thoughts to the world here. Yeah. So hopefully this helps you get through whatever you're going through. If you've lost somebody, if you're going through a breakup, if whatever, for me, first of all, I do a lot of learning.
Yeah.
Like I really do a lot of learning, and I give you a lot of credit because I'll never forget 10 years ago, it was about 9 years ago. I remember I had texted Annabelle and I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he said, "I'm studying." And I said, "You're studying for what? Like, are you in a course or like, what are you studying for?" And he responded, he goes, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Like, you're in college now or what? Because you talked all this shit about college." And he was like, "No, I'm studying for life." Yeah. And that sounds so, maybe you were just kind of being like, cheeky, but that hit me and I never forgot it. And I never forgot it because I never heard anybody speak that way, where he was telling me, I'm studying, I'm learning, I'm trying to get better in my life. And I think that so many people, they don't really actively try to learn and develop their mind. They don't try to get better spiritually or mentally. And I think that that's why a lot of people are trapped in these emotions that they have no idea how to get out of. And so to this day, I spend a lot of time, I spend money, I spend energy, I spend effort on learning from the greatest minds that have walked this planet.
Yeah.
And one of the books that I've recently been put on, and it's crazy, I get people that tag me, in my company, I get people that tag me all the time. I got my book. I had somebody tag me earlier.
Yeah.
And I was put on to the book Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
Yeah.
And shout out to AZD, because AZD was the one that put me on to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say this as well. It's like it's kind of becoming a reoccurring theme here, but I got to give them the proper credit because I've had many mentors in my life. I've had not many, but I've had several mentors in my life. Let me reword that. And they all hold a special place, in my heart because they've all taught me something very valuable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I'm at today in business if it wasn't for the mentors that I had, Art Martinez and Gary Cornigan, that I have because they still mentor me.
Yeah.
And they taught me a lot of, of the commitment and the discipline, and they've instilled great programming in my mindset, to be able to make it in the entrepreneurial world. And now at 29 years old, as I move forward in life, I'm really now heavily plugged into, learning from AZD in San Jose, IMC Nation. And, this man just continues to teach me, not about business per se. And a lot of it you can use it in business, but it's more so about mastering oneself. You know, and he was the one that put me onto that book, you know, Untethered Soul, and, you know, talking to me about transcendental meditation, and, you know, and a lot of other concepts and ideas and all these other things. So I think it's very, very important that if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have somebody who's teaching you, you don't have teachers in your life, great men that can teach you. You know, I don't know what you're doing. You're stuck, but you're in the past. Like you're stuck behind is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because we're in an era where you can connect with really anybody through social media, through internet. And if you have a question, if you had, you know, the guts to ask, you can find answers.
Yeah.
You know, and I find that these people, these men, they're very great men that are willing to teach, they're willing to give. At least in my life it has been, and I've seen it for many other people as well.
Yeah.
You know, and so I only say that because I spend a lot of time, energy, effort, money. I invest into myself so I can get better mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And I think that is very, very, very critical. You know, how many women watching this spend, you know, I don't know, X amount of dollars on their hair throughout the year, spend X amount of dollars on their makeup to put on their face. But here's a better question. How much money have you spent to put better knowledge in your head? Yeah. See, you spend a lot of money on putting what goes on your head, but very few dollars on what goes in your head. Same thing with men. You're not putting on makeup, but how much does each haircut cost? And now add that up for the entire year. Now you spend all this money on a haircut, but when it comes to, hey, buy this book or go to this seminar or buy this camp or whatever it is,
yeah,
you don't want to learn. You don't want to get better.
Yeah.
And now we live in I'm telling you, every podcast I'm saying the same thing. That's my line, right? We live in a time, but the time we live in is so ass backwards. We live in a time where if you want to better yourself, people mock you. They laugh at you. They make fun of you. Look at you reading. Look, in school, the person that read books was considered a nerd. The guy who played football, didn't read a book, and was struggling to make grades, he was the cool guy.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. We live in a world where it's totally ass backwards. And people are not encouraged to get better mentally or emotionally or spiritually. And what I'm telling people here today is you need to really invest into yourself and what goes in your mind rather than what goes on your body. Yeah. All that other cool, that's all cool shit, but what's inside of you? You know, because if you, look, I heard this other day, right? If you squeeze a lemon, what comes out of you? Or what comes out? Lemon juice. If you squeeze an orange, what comes out of that? Orange juice. Well, if you squeeze a person, what comes out of them? Is it good or is it bad?
Depends on the person.
Depends on the person. It depends on what they put inside of them.
Yeah.
Right? You know, so I say all that. It might be a tangent, but I don't think it's a tangent. It's I really strongly recommend anybody listening to go on a path to really start enlightening yourself.
Yeah.
The more spiritually enlightened you become, the more mentally enlightened you become, the better of a human being that you become, the better your mind becomes. It becomes sharp. It becomes tough. It becomes disciplined. And now you can handle what the world is bringing you. You can handle what life is throwing at you. And I think that's the only reason why I've been able to handle the things that I've been able to handle.
Yeah.
And I continue to move forward, and I handle everybody else's problems too, because they recognize this guy is equipped to handle this shit.
Yeah.
So take my car away, take my money away, take my clothes away, take all that away. But what you can't take away is the mind that I've created and the mind that I continue to build. And to me, that's invaluable.
That's funny that, not funny, but I agree with everything you're saying. And it just brought me back because a few days ago, maybe like 3 days ago, someone commented on one of the posts that I put about when we're talking about, you know, do you believe in God? And some random girl, I think she's from like Georgia or something, messaged me, and I'm gonna read the message and I'm gonna read my response to her. So she said, I'm trying to build my faith again after losing both my parents back to back, but it's hard to gain my faith back. I'm mad, sad, which I do hope I can get through this. And she tagged me. And my reply to her was, I'm very sorry for your loss. I can only imagine the sadness and pain you are in. Just know that death is a part of life, and there are things that we can control and things we can't control. You're going through the grieving process, and it's normal. Seek help, seek truth, and seek knowledge. This can be a sort of catapult to your life's journey. From my experience, the hardest moments in my life have impacted me the most in a significant way. Don't let the opportunity pass to gain wisdom and knowledge. One day you will help someone going through what you are going through. So the reason I bring that up is because you talk about seeking wisdom, seeking knowledge, seeking help from men that have that information that could guide you. And that is my answer to everything. And I even talk about, the things that you can't control, things you can control. And that is the answer to everything is seek knowledge, seek wisdom, seek help if you're trying to better your life. If not, you're going to go down that dark spiral. And I've been there, where you focus on the things you can't control, when you focus on the negative things like you talked about, when you just, and it's a vicious circle, and it ends in disaster and death. The opposite, when you seek truth, seek knowledge, seek wisdom, focus on positive things, on things you can control, your life will catapult the other way. There's people that have drastically changed their life in a very fast period of time because they're able to focus on the things they can control, and they're focusing on the things that bring them positivity in their life. And we can all do that. And I appreciate you being open, honest, and vulnerable. I know it's not easy talking about, the passing of your father and talking about all that and your experience. I know it's tough, but I know that it's going to help someone out there that's listening, which is why I asked you, are you okay with talking about that? And I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom and knowledge with everyone out there. One thing that I did want to find out is what the hell happened with that case? $40,000, bro.
Oh, yeah. Oh man,
you got me.
That's
intrigued.
gonna totally change the whole vibe of this shit. Okay,
you ready
That's
to switch
fine.
it up?
That's fine. Absolutely.
It's too doom and gloom right now, bro.
Yeah. This is gonna line it up.
up.
Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, it's like a novella, right?"
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, all right. Check this out. I was 21 years old. Okay, I went down to a dealership, a private exotic car dealership, and I bought a BMW M6. All right, this is a real story. I go down to the dealership. To the dealership, right? I talk too fast sometimes, so I go into the dealership, right? Yeah. And I've never purchased a car before, so okay. I go inside, and I say, "Hey, man." Nobody addressed me, so I had to call him over. I was like, "Excuse me, hey, man, how do I literally said, how do I buy one of these?" I swear, bro. And he says, as he doesn't even stop. He just continues to walk, and then he gives me the answer. And he's like, "Come back with a check." That was it.
Wow.
I said, "Okay, hold on, before you come back." And then he says, "What's up?" And he stopped, and he comes back. He goes, I said, "Well, how much for this car? Like, what kind of check do I need down payment?" He goes, "At least $15,000." I said, "Okay, got it." I come back about a month later. Yeah. I have a check in my back pocket, a cashier's check, $15,000. I come back, and I said, I found the same guy. I was like, "Excuse me, I need to talk to you." He's like, "What's up?" And then they were like, "What the fuck do you want?" Yeah. And I said,
they didn't think you could afford the car.
No.
Huh?
And I pull out a cashier's check. I said, "Here, I got a check. Can we start the process?"
Yeah.
That's how stupid I was. Like okay,
Jesus.
And so then
you got ripped off, bro.
hey, listen to the story. So then he all of a sudden it go from like totally like just disregarding me to, "What's your name?" I said, "My name is Chris." He goes, "What's your last name?" I said, "Lopez." All of a sudden I become Mr. Lopez at 21 years old.
Would you like some water?
"Nice to meet you, Mr. Lopez. Would you like some water? Would you like some coffee? We have some coffee. Would you like some?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem. Nah, I like this treatment, right?" So we go sit down, we do the financing, we do all that stuff, right? I'm getting fucking raped on this shit, right?
Yeah.
And anyways, I didn't care. I literally didn't care. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what the payment is. Just let me get the shit.
Yeah.
And man, I had envisioned that moment of me driving off that lot with that car. I mean, probably a million times over, bro.
Yeah. I
used to literally just sit in my office, like with my eyes closed, like meditating this shit. Like, I can't wait. I could smell the leather. You know what I mean? Like when the top goes down, like all this stuff, right? So I buy it. I buy the car. horrible deal, like ridiculously horrible deal. The car note was $980 a month. Okay. And the insurance, because I'm 21 years old at this point, I've already had like maybe 8-9 tickets.
Yeah.
I'm like legit. I've had 8-9 tickets. My insurance on a monthly basis. So the car note was $980.
Yeah.
The insurance was $900 a month.
Oh my God.
Okay. And gas, I calculated the gas. It was like $60 every week.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, what is that? $240 extra? No, is that? Yeah.
I think that's one. Yeah. 240.
240, right? So, I mean, if you just do the math on that, I'm spending over $2,000 a month just to have this car.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't include oil changes, doesn't include any of that other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, so I'm having fun in this shit. All right? I mean, this was a badass. It was a BMW M6. Like, it was a legit M6. This shit was hard.
Yeah.
So this is around the time I'm with my ex-girlfriend, right? And we had set up the insurance. I forgot why, but we had set up the insurance out of her bank account.
Yeah.
Okay. So we break up. I don't know the exact date, but let's say we broke up on a Monday. Okay. The insurance was supposed to come out like on a Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay. Or like say on a Thursday. Okay. Well, we break up on a Monday, let's say. I don't know that she goes and she cancels the bank account. It's like she closes the bank account, the bank account.
Yeah.
So I have no idea that happened. She closes the bank account like on a Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, I get in a car accident.
Oh my God.
Now, I don't get in a car accident with another car. This is a trip. This is a real story, okay?
Yeah.
I'm driving from Claremont, from Piano Piano.
I remember Piano.
Okay? I remember I was with this girl. Okay? We're at Piano. We had a good time. We're like, okay, cool. Let's go back to your crib, right?
Yeah.
So we're driving. It's kind of raining a little bit. And I'm driving on the 10 freeway going eastbound. And right under the bridge, the 10 and Vineyard, there's a bridge right there.
Yeah.
Right? I'm driving. The car hits a pothole.
Shit.
And it's raining. So it starts hydroplaning and it locks up. I have no control over it.
Yeah.
This is like maybe 12:30 a.m. at midnight, right?
Yeah.
The car starts to spin out in the freeway. Then it, boom, smashes into the center divider, and now I'm facing oncoming traffic.
Jesus Christ.
Okay? I'm trying to move the car, but I didn't know, I found out after, the back axle was snapped in half.
Yeah.
Okay? So the car's not moving. I'm going, and now it's starting, it feels like it's now raining harder, right? Airbags deploy.
Jesus.
Immediately I hear a voice. Like legit, I hear a woman's voice. And I'm not making this up. I was like, I was like, is God a woman? I swear. I put this on everything, dude. I put this on everything. A woman's voice came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, God's a woman. What the hell? Like, this is crazy, you know? And then as I come to my senses, they're like, are you okay? Are you okay? And it's the actual BMW has their own like roadside assistance.
Oh, shit.
So as soon as you get an impact,
They,
like somebody gets notified, you can speak to them,
yeah.
right?
It's an actual person. It's not like a machine.
Yeah, no,
or
it's a real person. Like
Yeah.
instant, dude. It was crazy. And so then they go, okay, well, cops are called. We called the cops. We sent them your location, this, that, blah, blah, blah. We're waiting there for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not much traffic because it's 12:30 a.m.
Yeah.
God is my witness. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. Imagine being stuck on the freeway.
Were you in the car?
I'm in the car. We can't get out. Me and the girl can't get out. She was all banged up from the airbags, right?
Jesus.
Okay.
That's a good date.
Oh yeah, it was going to be a great date that turned horrible, right?
Yeah.
We can't move the car.
Yeah.
So we're literally just waiting in the car facing oncoming traffic.
Jesus.
Okay. Now this is where it gets hella interesting. We see about, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 minutes later, a car is coming.
Right at you.
Hits the same pothole.
No.
Spins out. We're watching this shit, dude.
Oh
it's
my
the
God.
craziest thing. The car spins out. Now we're sitting ducks, and this car is spinning out, and we're thinking, oh shit, this car's gonna hit us.
Yeah.
It didn't hit us. It went behind us. And now
he's facing the same way too.
There's two cars slanted like this facing oncoming traffic. It was a girl in a
God.
Honda Civic. I never forget it.
Yeah.
So then the cops come. The cops were total assholes. Like total fucking assholes, bro.
Why?
Like, move your fucking car. I swear to God, that's how he was talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you a fucking idiot? Like, yeah, I just decided I just want to stay here.
Wow.
He's like, move your fucking car. That's exactly the cop was talking to me. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is your issue? I'm like, the car doesn't move. Get the fuck out. Like, okay, I don't know how to work my car. You know? So then he realizes the car doesn't move. So now the tow truck comes and he tells me to get in the other person that crashed.
Yeah.
Their car was still movable.
Yeah.
So it was just banged up. So he tells me to get in, and he goes, they're gonna take you to the next off ramp, which is Archibald.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like 1:00 in the morning. We go to there's a mobile gas station right there off the freeway.
Yeah.
It's dead empty because the gas station's closed. There's one truck in one of like the gas station things, right? The where the pump's at, but he's not pumping gas, and he's just, you can see the guys looking at his tire. Right? This is like surreal, dude. And we pull in. I get out of the girl's Honda. Me and the girl I was with, we get out of the girl's Honda.
Yeah.
The guy from a distance goes, "Hey, was that you two that just got in an accident?" We're like, "Yeah, why? What's up?" He goes, "Dude, my tire's flat from that pothole." And I was like, "No fucking way,
So
dude."
like a bunch of people were hitting that fucking pothole.
Right? So 3 people that night hit that pothole, right? Now, so anyways, I should have sued the city.
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't even fucking know what to do, right?
Yeah.
So I called the insurance company the next day.
Yeah.
Insurance company says, "We tried to draft you 2 days ago and we didn't get the payment."
Oh my God.
I go, "No fucking way." I go, "The money was in it." They said, "No way." I called my ex and I go, "Hey, what happened to the bank account?" She goes, "I closed it."
Oh my God.
I go, "No fucking way, dude." I said, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble."
Yeah.
Right? I remember just laying in bed like, "Oh, this is not good."
Yeah.
Right? Long story short, fast forward, the owner of the dealership finds out, of course, because the car was then impounded, right?
Yeah.
It was taken into so then they notified the real owner, which is him.
Yeah.
Because I'm just I'm financing it.
Yeah.
Then he comes after me, he sues me. I get subpoenaed. I was like, I don't know, what was it? Like $40,000 the lawsuit.
Yeah.
I get a lawyer. We what's the word I'm looking for? Settle.
Yeah.
Turns out God is good, isn't he? Listen to this.
Let's hear it.
So this is around the same time I don't have any money.
Oh, shit.
Like I have nothing, bro.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't even want to pay the guy. It was just, bro, I don't have anything to give you. Okay, nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't pay him. It goes 2-3 years. And I'm just waiting. I'm waiting and I'm waiting for the judgment. I'm waiting for, I'm waiting for something to come after me.
Yeah.
Nothing. You know what happens?
What?
Last year, that company
Went bankrupt?
not just went bankrupt. The FBI goes after them because the whole time they were doing fraudulent shit. They were selling the same car 2-3 times. This is real shit.
Oh my God. I guess 2 wrongs do make a right.
There you go. there you go, bro. So then it dawned on me. That's why the motherfucker never came after me.
Yeah. He was dealing with some other stuff.
It wasn't even that. It was probably more than likely he wrongfully sold me the car.
Oh, wow.
So I got off the hook.
God bless crooks. I'm just kidding.
Hey, God bless America, the entrepreneur system, the capitalistic world, baby.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's an awesome story, man.
That's crazy,
I'm glad you were able to get out of that pickle. I do have some crazy stories of myself, but we're going to leave that for another day. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up this show, brother?
I think we've had a great episode. I've had a good time, as always. But my biggest takeaway for everybody, I would like you to take away from this, is the greatest investment you can make is in yourself. 100%. I have stories. He has stories. We got stories for days of all the things that we had to go through, not fun experiences. When we look back, we sit back and we laugh and we go, damn, remember this time, remember that time, remember this time, right? But the greatest thing that you can do is you can learn from those lessons. right? I mean, that's the difference between life and school. School, they give you the lesson first and then they test you on it.
Yeah.
In life, they give you the test and then you find out what the lesson is after.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's really how my life has been. You know, on the way here, I was driving, I showed you, I drove by my old college that I dropped out of.
Yeah.
And it was a surreal moment as I'm driving in my car and I'm like, dude, I remember 11 years ago, I dropped out and everybody told me I was making a huge mistake.
Yeah.
It turned out to be the greatest decision of my life. It turned out to be the greatest decision of my life, but that doesn't mean that I didn't have a lot of trials and errors and, you know, all these different obstacles to overcome over the last 11 years. Of course I had to go through that.
Yeah.
But that's what makes you. See, I made the mistakes, but the mistakes made me.
Yeah.
Invest into yourself. Invest into your growth. There's no amount of money that you can pay that's not worth it. Because if you're saying it's not worth it, you're saying you're not worth it.
Yeah.
If you're saying, well, that amount's not worth it, then you're saying you're not worth it because it's what you put in here that's going to change your life. Yeah. And you can be able to handle a lawsuit. You can be able to handle a breakup. You can be able to handle death. You can be able to handle anything that life brings you. The stronger you get, the better you get, the more enlightened you become. Shoot, you tell life, bring it on. That's
it, brother.
And that's all I really have to say. So I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, I just to piggyback on what you're saying, I agree 1,000%. Every day, try to improve your life by studying and applying the things that you're learning. Because a lot of times people study things and they don't even apply any of it. You know?
Yeah, no, they don't.
It's like, oh, I read that.
But that's
book.
Not studying. That's just reading.
That's just reading. Exactly. Like, oh, I just read this. I watched that. I did this. I did that. You know, there's people that are perpetual, you know, nerds when it comes to like they study like the self-help stuff.
Yeah.
They could repeat all the quotes and
they just collect information.
Yeah, they collect information, but they don't apply any of it to their life. And you shouldn't waste your time if you're not going to apply any of the things that you're learning, you know. So make sure that you guys go out there, pursue your goals, accomplish them, and always remember, be the best and fuck the rest.
Yeah, we fucking out of here.